So I'm gonna tell part of my story. It's not in order, okay? This is gonna be, I think, number 8 of the videos on the playlist My Story. None of this is in order, and I'm sorry about that. I it's hard enough to tell these things without then having to do it all in order, because the thing is that I'm also remembering new things, and yeah, I mean it's not easy, all right, and I'll do my best. The reason I'm going to tell this part of the story now is that I've just seen on Facebook a video with Richard Lighthouse of Targeted Justice in a white hat, talking about the white hats and how they're helping Targeted Justice. Well, I've got something to say here, because firstly, I've been attacked by Targeted Justice, as well as many other group leaders of targeted individual groups. I do not know why I am being ostracized and targeted as I am. I don't know why, all right? But I'm telling you that it has put my life in danger many times, and it is doing so right now, because I have literally nowhere to turn. I am totally ostracized. My food is running out. I don't have an income. I have been, for months and months and months, I've been living off dry food stores that I prepped before I went into detention. Now, I didn't know that was going to happen. I had premonitions, okay? I call that guidance from God, okay? And I literally had guidance to buy that big metal bin, and to have dry food stored. I was literally guided to do that. So but what I want to say about this is that you know, I am literally, look, everybody I try to contact to get help, and I'm talking about charities, you know, people whose job it is to help people like me, I'm being completely ignored. Even, you know, I had to make a complaint about the lawyers, and I've spoken about that in the other video, and even the board that are supposed to oversee lawyers are ignoring me. All right, so literally I'm being ostracized now. It is possible because, you know, gang stalkers are in fact hackers. It is possible that, you know, my correspondence has been intercepted, and I've actually proved that they do intercept my correspondence, and they intercept my calls as well. Okay, so this is part of the subject of this video, because what I want to say is this: gang stalkers, let's start there, they're hackers to start with, okay? And what's another way to say that? Oh, security industry specialists? You know, I'm trying to remember exactly the words that Richard Lighthouse used in his video, but, you know, he was saying that they were white hats. Now, look, I have had the experience, which I'm about to talk about now, where I was told, oh, the good guys are coming to help you. The white hats, the good guys, they're coming to help you. And it wasn't the good guys, it was the gang stalkers. And they made it a million times worse. And they were the ones who caused me to be ostracized by everybody. Okay? So, look, I am not blaming the white hats here. What I am saying is that every group, every single group everywhere has been infiltrated, all right? Um, and this is how, I mean, especially TIs, you know, and especially TI groups. And, you know, I need you to think about this. If they're gonna infiltrate a TI group, especially one with a big following, they're gonna do it very cleverly, aren't they? They're gonna send in somebody who's gonna be beyond reproach. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is how they do it, guys. This is how they turn everyone against the real victim, the real TI. Okay, and that is what is happening to me. And literally, my life had been put in danger so many times. I'm so exhausted by all this. You know, I need to go to the doctor. I can't go to the doctor. I'll show you. Look, this is, I believe it is scabies, and it happened when I was in the detention centre, and I saw the way the nurse looked at my arm, and by the way, it's in other places now as well. I saw the way she looked at my arm, and I knew. And she said, oh, well, and I was about to add it to the list of things that I needed to see the doctor about. And she said, oh, well, that's too many now. All right. And I knew, I just knew, you know, there's a reason why and that was, I think, the day before, or even just hours before I was released. Okay, so this is hard to explain, how everyone that the traffickers turn everyone against the victim, so that they want to cause the victim harm in every possible way. And this nurse, she must have known that that was scabies, and she would have known that I don't have money, and that I don't have a way to get to a doctor, and that I can't even get ivermectin, because I think that's the cure, isn't it? But I can't even get to the town to buy it, because the dirty cops arranged for my truck to be stolen. Okay, you know all this story because it's been in my other videos. But what I want to talk about now is that they infiltrate, okay, and they're hackers. They're hackers, and you know, if they call themselves, oh, ethical hackers, does that make a difference? They can call themselves anything. You know, they're getting away with this by claiming they're helping TIs. Do you know that? It's literally like the bank robbers quickly changing into, you know, police uniforms for the getaway. That's what's going on here. All right. These people have stalked me online and offline for very many years, all right, very many years, and they were hackers right from the beginning. I mean, even like right from the beginning of the internet. I remember I was on a site called ICQ, and that's a long time ago, right? And they were stalking me then. Yes, baby, I know. So what I want to talk about now is I think it was 2021. For pretty much the whole year, I was, see my throat, they're doing something to my throat every single time. I was trapped in a field in a place called George West. Okay, now in that field, so many horrible things happened, all right? The police tried to have me put into mental hospital twice, and both times the mental health staff were actually very good, and they told the police to lay off me because I'm not nuts, basically. But But one of the mental health nurses, that was so strange. He was a male, very, very strange. He had clearly been contacted by my traffickers, and he said to the other girl, the other nurse, I want to talk to her privately, okay? And I was actually recording this conversation, but later on, a policeman called Officer Pearman, I believe it was him, who pretended to help me, but actually he was removing evidence from my phone. I believe that's what he was doing, and he was also putting some kind of tracking thing on my phones. I had more than one phone because they keep breaking my phones, okay? And he was pretending to help me, but he wasn't. He was just making sure that wherever I went, the slander and the smear campaign would be there before I even got there. That's basically what he was doing, and he let me know it. And he even let me know it in subtle but horrible ways, like he had very bad eyesight. He wore these bifocal glasses, and every time he had been hacking my phone, the font was changed to a larger font, okay? So going back to this conversation with the nurse, the male nurse, he was very, very strange, and he was saying things to me like, my ancestors are from Germany, and he kind of looked at me meaningfully, okay? Now, I had no clue what that was about, but since then, many perps have brought this subject up about Germany, and I think that they've just made up a lie that I'm some kind of German spy or something. I don't know. Look, if someone can tell me what this particular piece of slander is about, I'd be grateful. But look, I'm not German. I've spoken about this before. They've done all kinds of street theatre with this German thing. It's complete lies. But I don't know what the significance, is either. I don't really understand. But anyway, and he was just very, very strange. And I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. I've been to Germany. It's a nice place, And then his eyebrows go up when I say I've been to Germany. I was a flight attendant. I've been literally, well, not everywhere, but I've been to a lot of places, all right? That's not unusual. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, he was very strange, and he was definitely trying to get me locked up, all right? But when he spoke to his supervisor, she asked to speak to me, and she asked me the basic questions, what's your name, what's the date, who's the president, and I answered. In fact, we had a bit of a laugh because it was, so that tells me what year it was. Because, it must have been just after 2020, just after the election. So it's 2021, yeah. Excuse me, they're doing something to my throat. And when she asked me who's the president, I said, well, his name is Biden, but, some of us believe that Trump won. And she said, laughed a bit and said, yeah, I'll accept that. So, she told him, leave her alone. But that was one incident. Then there was another one where because I was trapped in this place, I had no way to, I was being ostracized, just like I am here in Lake Arthur. I was being ostracized. I couldn't get a mechanic to come and fix my RV. I couldn't get a wrecker to tow me to an RV park because I wanted to get out of this field, okay? Because they were doing mind control experiments on me. Horrible, horrible mind control experiments. That's where they started killing my pet hens, okay? And it was just awful. The first one that went missing was Jenny. I called her Jenny Geronima, and she went missing on Halloween, and you know the significance of that, all right? I'm sure you do. And then the next one, I found her beheaded and laid out neatly for me to find. And that was, I can't remember the date, but like the 19th of December or something. It was, I remember looking it up, and it was like the winter solstice or something. So it's this, you know what I'm talking about. These people are satanic, all right? But what was happening was that what I didn't know was that I was being accused of being, doing witchcraft and this kind of thing. And the whole thing was lies. The whole thing was lies. And I had no clue that this was going on behind my back. And I'll tell you, there were two people that were helping me at that time. One of them was called Elaine Wu, and she is a TI. Now, I realise now that she had obviously been told this lie about me being a witch. And she was behaving really strangely and started telling me things like that she'd ordered a torture bracelet or something. And I didn't I was so shocked. And I thought, well, I don't want to be judgmental because, she's a torture victim. So I kind of tried to empathize. And I was like, well, does it make you feel better, to feel like you can defend yourself or something like that, But of course, I'm sure now that was taken, that was me agreeing with it or something. You see, they're so tricky, these gang stalkers. They're just so tricky. Listen, if you've been told something about me, firstly, the only people who would do that are gang stalkers, all right? Period. All right? Secondly, if you've been told something terrible about me, come and ask me. Give me a chance to defend myself. So anyway, I can't actually remember then what happened with the Elaine Wu, but it got too weird for me. I don't know if she actually did a torture trigger. If she had it done, I would have immediately blocked her. So maybe that's what happened, but I can't remember. And it's significant I can't remember because that means, that's an indication of the mind control, as I've said before. Now, another person that was helping me was someone who told me that she's the person who really told me about Q and the White Hats, right? And her name, Wren Carberry, W-R-E-N, Carberry. And look, I won't tell you the whole story of that, but at one point she said to me that somebody was coming to this field to the good guys. That's what she said. They're the good guys. They're coming to help you, right? And that is absolutely not what happened. Whoever came was not a good guy and was not a white hat, okay? Now, I had noticed that this girl had been tricked a couple of times, all right? I didn't want to say anything. Just a few of the things she said indicated to me that she had been tricked, okay? I'll give you an example so you know what I'm talking about. So she showed me this message that she got, and she said, look, they've acknowledged me, as if the Q people or the White Hats had acknowledged her. And it was a perp, okay? It wasn't real. It wasn't real. It was a perp The perps do that all the time. So it's possible that she was tricked again, and she would have given the address of this place, because she was the one who knew the address of this, because this is in the middle of nowhere. It was between George West and another town that I think was called like Beeville or something. I think it was called, so the gang stalker started again. Okay. So I think she gave the address. Sorry, that's distracting me. I put my... But what happened after that was just, it just went from bad to worse, and I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember the details, but I can tell you they were not white hats trying to help me. Oh yes, I do remember, because it was near the time when I did actually get out. Yeah, it wasn't long after that I did actually get out of that place, but it wasn't the white hats who helped me. It was gang stalkers themselves. Okay, I think they realized, because I literally started screaming and crying because I could not get out of that place, and I think they realized they were going to have, a serious problem on their hands if they didn't get me the hell out of there. Okay, so they sent me this mechanic who actually wired my RV so that the carbon monoxide was coming inside, by the way. So, and I know that, I'm not a mechanic at all, but I know that because the next mechanic that I spoke to, who was actually a good guy, and he wasn't a gang stalker, when he looked at it, he said, you could have died. And I was like, I'm not even shocked anymore. I'm telling you, they have tried to kill me so many times. I'm not even freaking shocked anymore. I'm more shocked that I'm still freaking alive, and I'm not all that happy about it, frankly, because I don't want to keep suffering like this. All right? I do not. It's enough already. Lost my... But anyway, these, that was what I wanted to say. So I only found out a long time after that, but it seems that they had made up a story that I'd killed a cat or something. Now, this is absolute lies. There was a cat there, and I did actually chase the cat away, because it was a male cat, and it had started spraying inside my RV, so I didn't want that going on. But I was feeding it and stuff, so I didn't want it to feel like, if I left, how can I say, like, if it came back, before I left, I was planning to take it with us. Okay, take this cat with us, because that wasn't its home, and we were the only ones that it knew. It used to hang around with my chickens. But you see, I hadn't seen the cat at all in the days before I left. Oh, and there was a TI there who was there right at the beginning. In fact, the reason I went to the field in the first place was that this TI was there, and I went to visit him, and his name was David Nickham. Now, there's something weird going on there as well, but what I'm remembering now, I have the image in my mind of saying something about the cat, like asking if he'd seen the cat or something like that, or like, if the cat turns up, then I'll see if he wants to come with us, because I knew I was leaving by then. And just the look on his face, you see, again, this is taking me back to the other incident on the aircraft. You know, he had a look on his face that I should have questioned, you know, and it was a shocked look. And, you know, I actually want to know what happened to that cat. Did the gang stalkers kill the cat and say that I'd killed it? I mean, I don't know. But also then Ren Carberry was also being weird with me on the subject of cats. And then another TI. You see, this is, nobody ever tells you to your face is the thing. And then another TI said something about cats, and I knew, okay, there's something going on about cats here. But I didn't know that I'd been accused at all. I didn't know anything about this, just like with the other incidents, okay? Well, over and over and over again this happens. So, look, a lot of things happened when I was stuck in that field, all right? Really, a lot of very horrible things. They stole my identity at least twice. They had me under mind control and they stole my savings. That was actually on the same day when they killed my pet hen, Ruth, the one they beheaded. And I want to say this was not a wild animal or anything like that. She was beheaded. I have the photos somewhere on one of the devices. She was beheaded and neatly placed for me to find right after I'd had all my savings stolen. Okay? And they did that with, that was a coordination between a gang stalker who was on Telegram. Telegram's absolutely full of gang stalkers, by the way. I was tortured on Telegram, and every time I would ask for help from somebody, like for example, there was a lawyer, I'm trying to remember his name, these gang stalkers would intervene and tell them some story so to turn them against me. I mean, it happened over and over and over again. Telegram is just, yeah, it's full of gang stalkers. So it was a coordination between this guy on Telegram and the mind controllers, okay? It was absolutely awful. I'll never forget that day. I'm so traumatized by it. Many other things happened too. Basically, they were doing mind control experiments on me. They were making me, on the one hand, like way too placid, and then on the other hand, which they're doing really to me now, but hopefully I'm coming out of that slightly now, but it's been so many years, you know. And then on the other hand, they would then make me like real ultra angry and aggressive. And they never, you know, they were kind of going from one extreme to another, and then it would be awful because I would remember things that I'd done, like I got really aggressive, you know, with my hands and things like that when they had put me in the angry phase, you know. I can't tell you how awful this is. I'm so traumatized. I'll never get over any of this. All right, I'll never get over any of this, and I can't even get help from anyone because the whole point is this is what keeps this a secret is psychiatry fraud. And if I go anywhere for help, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to lock me away and throw away the key. All right. So I just pray to God. I do my affirmations. This has been too much for too long, all right? It's been too much for too long. And you know what that was like, to be told that the good guys were coming to help me and then to find out they were gang stalkers. I can't tell you. It's exasperating. Do you know, I think that is actually one of the psychological torture methods that they use, because they do it over and over again. They give you hope and then they snatch it away again. So there's a lot more that happened in that field, and I will have to tell it another time, but I need to say this. People walking up to you and telling you they're a white hat and they're going to help you. Come on. You know, anyone with a neuron, you know, can figure that one out, okay? Our gang stalkers are hackers, okay? And they're not ethical. Look, I hope I'm wrong, all right? I hope I'm wrong, but it's a little bit suspicious that targeted justice lawyer Anna Toledo attacked me and then got Richard Lighthouse and 2 more of the leaders to attack me with exploitation of phobias, torture, and I'm completely ostracized now. I've got no help from any of these people, you know, and my life is in danger. And isn't it strange? And they're being helped by white hats. If they were really being helped by white hats, I'll tell you something. The white hats would be saying to them, what about Grace T.I.? All right? Because they must know that I'm a real T.I. They must do. If they are in our business so closely, they must know that. Unless they're not and they're gang stalkers. All right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But and the other possibility is that, you know, that they're pretending it's a joke, because gang stalkers do that a lot. That's what they've been doing with this exploitation of phobias torture. They've been pretending it's a joke. And I want to say something. This is one of the things that has, one of the lies that I discovered has been told behind my back, and I had no clue. Is that people were being told that I had fled from England because I was guilty of something, okay? Now, let's just get something straight. I fled from England, yes I did, absolutely. I took all my savings that I had, and I took all my, well, I didn't have savings exactly, but I had, I took out all my retirement pension from British Airways, which was all the savings that I had. I got rid of everything, and I came to America seeking asylum. And why did I do that? Because of exploitation of phobias torture. I was being mobbed. I was being followed in the middle of the night. You know, sometimes, you know, flights, when you're a flight attendant, some of your flights are like, you know, you have to be at the airport at like 4 a.m, okay? And they were following me, these gang stalkers, and coughing. They had sensitized, the first thing, well actually I think it was the second thing they sensitized me to was the sound of coughing. And I'm telling you, it's the most horrible thing you can ever imagine. Like, I literally couldn't walk down the street without these people following me doing this fake coughing. And I literally did not, I wanted to die. And I've told this story before, that when I was at my home in Penzance, I was literally kind of begging to die. And that's when I had this vision of Jesus who floated down from the ceiling. And I've spoken about that. That's not what this video is about. But absolutely 100%, I have not done anything wrong. If you think that I have, come and tell me. And actually, if you think that I have, then get the police to investigate. Get the FBI to investigate. I've been trying to get them to investigate. All right? An investigation will uncover the truth. All right? And I don't think, I actually believe that that's what's needed for every single TI. Because unless the truth is revealed, then people are just going to go on thinking that we're guilty of something when we're not. You know, let's get to the truth, you know. Like, the only people on this earth who wouldn't want an investigation into crimes are the perpetrators. Okay? I have been asking and asking for an investigation. I contacted my congressman. I contacted senators. I have reported to the FBI over and over and over again. Before I was too traumatized to make phone calls, I called them. It was when I was in Texas, I called 3 different departments. I think it was San Antonio, Dallas, and another one. I can't remember the third one. And they, you know what they did? They did the exploitation of phobias, torture triggers to me on the phone, and they mocked me and they hung up. 3 different offices of the FBI, okay? And since then, I've written to them countless times. I reported, you know, the theft of my savings. You know, that was over 3,000. That's called grand theft, isn't it? Right? They never even bothered to reply, all right? This is going off the subject now of the thing, but look, I need some help here. I need some help or I will die. My food is running out. Everyone that I message to get help to get this investigated are just completely ostracizing me and ignoring me. Okay? You know, even TI groups are attacking me. What is going on? Somebody tell me what is going on. Somebody tell me the truth. What the hell am I being accused of? What the hell could I have possibly done to deserve to be tortured this badly? Any of you who are real TIs, you know how horrific it is to be a TI. And to, on top of it, be ostracized and attacked by other TIs, and to not even be able to go to a single support group. Come on, this is barbaric, and you know it is, and nobody can survive this. So somebody come and tell me the truth right now, and I need help or I am going to die.